This is Brick Lane. Now, some of you probably know Brick Lane already. Now, if you'd have been along here in the 40 years ago, the names over the shops are names like Goldstein, Silverberg, Cohen, Levy, because this was still the heart of the Jewish community. The Jews had moved away by then, but their businesses were still on this street. Today this is the heart of the Bangladeshi community, and I read a couple of years back there's over 50 restaurants on this street, Bengali restaurants. They're all good, all reasonably priced. My favourite these days is Shiraz. I told you it's one of the restaurants I recommend, and what I was really pleased about, I like this restaurant, and the Independent on Sunday wrote a nice article about it 2 weeks ago, so I've obviously got good taste. Now, the original Indian restaurants, and Chinese for that matter, were working men's cafes for those communities. We discovered them, liked them, they westernised the food slightly, and they've just become so popular. In fact, Indian food is now so popular in this country, the food writers class it as English food. And you know that old English tradition. On a Friday afternoon, people who work together, when they finish work, they all go to the pub together to drink about 94 pints of beer and then try and get the strongest curry available. And when they're sick, it's never the fault of the beer, is it? It's always blamed on the curry. The only original Indian restaurant, Working Men's Cafe, left on this street is Sweet and Spicy over there. Now, further up the street is a tall building with some kind of contraption on the roof. I think it's a mobile phone mast. And that's the old Truman's Brewery, which closed down in the mid-1980s. Well, it's a listed building, and today it houses bars, restaurants, nightclub, galleries. It's a really busy entertainment centre. In many ways, it's turned Brick Lane into Soho when you come along here in the evenings. Now, visitors from other countries often say to me, how do you afford to live in London? It is so expensive. Well, it is expensive except for one thing, and that's only available from Brick Lane, and that's the cheapest bagel in Europe from the 24-hour Brick Lane Bagel Bakery at the top end of the street, where you can still get a bagel for 15 pence. You get one with cream cheese and smoked salmon in it for £1.50. Can't knock that, can you? It's become such an institution, the BBC Radio 4's food programme once devoted a whole episode to the Brick Lane Bagel Bakery, and that's how I know it's the cheapest bagel in Europe, and he bakes 80,000 bagels a week. Now, this next little street on the left is Strolled Street, completely redeveloped in the 1980s. But back in 1902, born on Strolled Street was Abe Saperstein. And when Abe was 8 years old, his family emigrated to Chicago, where he grew up. And he grew up a big basketball fan. But when he tried to join a basketball club, they wouldn't let him in, because in those days the American Basketball League wouldn't allow in Jews. So Abe formed his own little team, and in the 1920s in the dance halls of Chicago, when the band took its break, Abe and his friends used to put on exhibition basketball. And one night a black kid approached Abe and asked could he join the team, because in those days the American Basketball League wouldn't allow in black kids. Well, Abe didn't let him join his team, he formed a black team. So he had a black team and a white team, and that's how the Harlem Globetrotters began. And it's always nice to get a chance to blow your own trumpet. And a couple of years back, the New York Times published a very flattering article about me. And as a result of that, I got a phone call from Abe Saperstein's grandson, who is now a New York lawyer. And we've spent a very pleasant afternoon round here, doing a one-to-one tour, where I learnt as much about the Harlem Globetrotters as he learnt about where Grandad played out. So there you go.